why bother? If you're gonna halfway do it, why bother even trying? Try it, and if you don't like it, don't do it. Just wrapped up session 1 for week 6, right off deload, and I'm really happy. We got 3 hours, 4 minutes, and 12 miles. Yeah, I'm happy, man. I got to test out some nutrition things, water, everything like that felt really good. I like the gear I have. A lot of really good feedback. The biggest being like today's outdoor 3 hour was much easier than the one I did indoors, and the distance is about the same. You know, I'm not moving fast. If stopped is 0 and a fast walk would be like a 3, RPE 3, I'm hovering 4 or 5 tops. I don't ever fucking see gear 6. But I want to be able to do it forever, because that's been the weak spot. That's been where mentally I'll shut down and not do it. That there's always a reason, there's pain, there's hip, there's repercussions, but I've never intended to actually train for it to see what I could get better at, and it's fucking cool. So you could do this, right? Like you can make improvements and you can follow a plan. This is something I didn't think I'd ever be able to do again, right? I set that limitation. I wasn't told that. I didn't have the doctors like, you'll never run, you never squat. And 2, look, doctors do that because it's easier to keep your expectations super low, and then you feel gutsy for beating them. It's a win-win for everyone. They're not liable and they didn't lie to you, and it's a better move to just set expectations to the ground. If people fall there, that's your own weak ass spirit. You can do it, man. You can do it. You can do what you've deemed impossible. And as soon as you do one, you've got to at least admit to yourself that doing impossible things is a thing you can do. And from that point on, you're deciding, do you want to do those things or not? Not that you can't. And that's a big difference in mindset. But if anyone is actually interested in run stuff, so honey stinger gels have been rad. I'm eating one of these an hour, which is, I don't know, 110 calories. And then I'm eating a couple of these like Scratch Lab Energy 2s every 30 minutes. 110 calories plus that pack is like 70 calories for like 5 chews. So whatever's in the whole pack, I'm gonna finish it. But you know, I mean, calorically for me, my Garmin's got me chalked at like 2,300 calories, right? So I'm nowhere near fueling at the pace that I'm burning, but I got to get something back in there and be smart about it. That was good, man. That really was. I didn't have that like plan today, right? So I kind of sneak attacked myself. Sneak attacked, whatever you would say. But occasionally I'll do that. Just be like, yeah, we're going. The weather's nice. Like there was no reason for me to put this next 3 hours on the treadmill. I'm aware that there's this threshold between how I like the convenience of just going to the gym and doing it. Total invested time for me is like 3 hours and 20 minutes, because that's to and from the gym added into the 3 hours. I can just basically be on it. But for me to go outside and do this, like I need the weather to be right. It's also 30 minutes from the house where I start the run. Like running on gravel way more than pavement. I can feel that immediately. Shoes I've chose have been awesome. I have no blisters after 3 hours. My feet feel really good. So the Nike Pegasus Trail or whatever they're called are really, really rad. And I'll mostly pick which one I'm gonna wear the day of based on what color palette I feel like wearing, what my outfit is. I think that's part of it, man. Like, if you're gonna do a thing, dive in. Like, enjoy being a bit of a kook and get into the gear and dress the part. And why halfway do it? Why bother? If you're gonna halfway do it, why bother even trying? Just go all in and see if it's cool. Don't give yourself that out of, yeah, I tried it, you know, and like have a reason. Don't give yourself that out. Just try it, and if you don't like it, don't do it. All right, day 1 in the books. Tomorrow, probably won't have much, maybe an hour. 6 weeks, man. It's incredible what you can change in 6 weeks.
Morning, day 2 of this week. We got our 3 mile run in. We got a fucking panther sneaking up on us. So fast, buddy. Oh, thank you, Ollie. So I'm gonna do the bike this morning. Just a little change up. I had disappointment. So I just don't feel like going anywhere. But I got some new shoes. So I gotta put the cleats on the bottom.
Okay, cardio done. It's getting easier. The basement time on the bike's harder. I don't want to sit. I'd rather be outside. Lean into that.
Oh shit, I'm on their ass now. Can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. Niggas is trash now. I'm a spaz out. I've been killing my lows.
So this is week 6 of kind of our run training, and like it's getting harder for me to capture run footage that's interesting looking, right? Because, well, it looks like running. And I don't want to carry my camera with me on a 3-hour run just because it's extra weight and something else to fucking deal with. I need less thresholds to go. And then running on the treadmill, as riveting as that looks like. So this is the stuff I'm doing right now to make sure that my knee and my hip are feeling good. I've been communicating a bunch with Ben Patrick, who's the knees over toe guy on YouTube, and we have been talking about adding these exercises to my routine. And so far so good, but I'm 2 weeks into doing these exercises, so I really don't think I'm gonna notice a big difference for another 6 weeks. And here's what we're looking like. So we're starting off with 10 minutes of every session, whether that's my warm up or it's the cool down. Kind of depends on how big the thing is I have to do and how good I feel prior to it. So if I'm a little stiff, a little achy, it's part of the warm up. I have 10 minutes worth of backward sled dragging. I bought a sled from Spud Inc. It goes on turf, slides across stuff, it's fabric, and then I hooked on some plates, and then I just attached a band to it while I'm waiting for the rest of my stuff to come in. And it's simply just walking backwards like this. I like what Ben showed Mark on his channel with all the different stuff that they were doing for knee health. And so one of those big concerns I've started adding to my routine over the last couple of weeks is trying to get more and more mobility back into my knee, because I know the hip is compromised and it's not gonna move. So we may as well try to free up as much as I can in the ankles, my low back, and my knee to give the hip some more room to breathe, right? So these backward sled drags are gonna help kind of keep things active, and I believe work on ankle mobility as well as like ligament strength and stuff like that. So we're just trying to get a bunch of blood flow into the VMO and into the knee, and then keeping things under control while we're doing the backwards walk. So another thing I've been adding like every day to my routine is some Nordic chair stuff. So I kind of made my own way to do it. So I don't always have the perfect equipment to do the things. So I've been adding in these kind of Nordics, or it's basically like a poor man's glued ham raise as what they are. So I've got my feet hooked underneath the bench here. I've got some weights working as a counterweight so the bench won't move. And then I'm using 2 of these ab mat crash cushions that we have to be my pad. And what better than a Kabuki strength trap bar to be my my stopping point. So simply, I'm just trying to engage my hamstrings and leverage forward as far as I can, catch myself, and then help myself back up to a return position. So it's two or three sets of these 3 times a week. It's made a big difference. We're starting to feel more activation in my hamstring, which has been a struggle with the knee and everything else. So adding in more hamstring work has been excellent. So this is one of the ways I'm doing that. We were going forward before with the Nordics, and now we're gonna try to sit back and put our ass on our heels, which I can't. So it's just a matter of getting better at it. So I'm just gonna lean back into it as far as I can. Ton of stretch across the front of this kneecap and VMO where it's not supposed to bend good. Sit back and then come out of it. So another exercise, I'm using my belt squat that I have from Sorinex, their J squat, and I'm using some wedges to kind of over exaggerate my ankle mobility. And as I'm squatting on this, I'm trying to drive my knees out as far forward as I can to try to push range of motion there and be able to keep my body pretty vertical, whereas squatting on a rack or in a bar has been tricky with that with the hips. So this allows me and so it's putting a ton of force into the calves, through the Achilles, through the patella tendon and everything else in the knee. That actually feels great. Plus I have this weight putting down, so I am getting some strength training done out of it. So a few sets of 10 of this have been really nice. I've been doing these. These happen every day I run. This and the backwards walking are an everyday thing. Really good morning session. I didn't feel like running an hour, and I really didn't have it on the books today. So what I ended up doing was this long, like 45-minute conditioning piece. So I did sled drags, salt bike sprints. Together I did 4 rounds of that, like glute ham raise or Nordics, some belt squat, Sorinex leg curl thing, or leg roller, I don't know the name of it, and kettlebell swings. And then I did a mile. I did 1 mile for time and ran it in 9:30, whatever that is. So that's a PR. I haven't run a sub 10-minute mile. So that is the end of week 6. Tomorrow, all the equipment comes in. And then so next week, dope will be much different looking. But next week, we're in Vegas. So we've got a trip down to Vegas. We're doing some podcast with Jay Cutler, Flex Lewis. Going to the UFC Institute and see Bo Sandoval and see what's going on there. Really excited to go tour that place. All right, so there's a day. Today, we got better. Today we got better, everybody. Tomorrow, the gym gets a lot better. All right, spread hate, always party.
Never stop, never settle. I got Henny all in my cup. I'm on top, I'm on a level, yeah. I'm tryna get to the back. Got it on lock, got it on smash, yeah. She tryna holler what's up. I'm with the shits, this how it is.